Welcome back. I hope you just took a glass of water. Let us now get to question 4, where we have integration of those two topics. And we can also have finance in it. Let's see how they can ask us these questions. So there they're talking about Gr12, who visited Denver Zoo during his stay in America, unfamiliar context. The layout plan of the zoo showing some animal enclosures and map of the surrounding area is given in Annexure D. We need to go and study our annexures. They are not just there, they are there to assist us to answer the questions. There is our layout of the zoo. Look at your compass direction. Be careful. It's not always going to be facing up. You have the surrounding area there, the map. And then they ask us questions on those two. It says they determine the total number of venues. What kind of venues are we looking for that are available for services and education? How will I find that out? My layout. Read the keys that you are given. Here you can see that S and E is what you're looking for, services and education. Go count them, and then you write them accordingly. Again, it's a level 1 question. All of us can answer, but we need to be able to go back and look at our information that is given so that we can answer that. Now they say Gr12 entered the zoo and passed the predator enclosure and continued walking in the westerly direction. Do you know where is your west? North is down. Usually we are used to saying if it was up, then this side would be our east. But now it's facing down. Our east is going to be on the other side. So then it means that this is going to be our west and this is going to be our east. So just remember, if they turn it around, you can turn your map because it will be physically so, then you just turn it around and it will still make sense to you. So he enters, follow the road that they say he follows, and then you will reach that enclosure that they're talking about. But follow what they are saying you must follow. Here's a very interesting question. It says the shortest distance between York Street and Colorado Street is 1.6 kilometers. They have given you the actual distance, right? And then they're saying verify, showing all calculations whether the bar scale on the map is correct. Level 4, you need to now rectify it. Is it right? Is it wrong? How do we do that? Remember I said your rulers, grade 12s, this is the part where your rulers work. Look at the ruler on the scale. It starts at 0, not at 1, not where the ruler starts. It has to start at 0. I'm just going to take time to concentrate on how we read off this value more than I'm going to spend on how to go about this question. You see where it ends, this numbers here, if you look at this ruler, it's 0 and then it's 3. But it has segment, it has tiny, tiny, tiny lines. Those lines, you can use it in terms of millimeters and say this is 31 millimeters because now you're counting those tiny, 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 tiny numbers as your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you are working with centimeters, then those tiny lines represent your comma 1, comma 2, comma 3 until you get to what you're looking for. So this is what you need to do. Make sure you go and check your scale. Measure that scale. Measure the distance. They gave you the actual distance, but you can't find the answer if you don't measure the distance. Again, the ruler has to start appropriately where the line of 0 is. So now, what is the question that they are asking us here? They have given us the real distance. We need to find the distance using the map. And if we find that those distances are equal, then we would say that the bar scale is correct. But if they are not, then the bar scale was not drawn. This bar scale that was used is not correct for this map. So this is one way you can do it. Measure the distance between the two towns. You saw the ruler where it was, you measure it. Then you measure the bar. When you measure the bar, there is always a mark for writing the bar measurement and the real distance, there's always a mark for that. When you write them down, you get a mark for that. And then you will find your actual distance using the distance that you measured over the bar distance, and then you multiply by the real part of the scale. What is the real part of the scale? It's this one. It's 200 meters. How did I get to this actual? You can use your cross multiplication, you can use your table method or your mud and dab to be able to find or to make this actual distance the subject of the formula. Then what do? You compare and then you make a conclusion. If you find that it's not 1.6, 1.6, or perhaps you can even compare them in terms of meters, but it has to be in the same units. This is another way that you can approach it. Still the same thing, but then now we are going the other way around. We're starting with our actual distance. We want to see if the 200 is correct there on the bar. That was a question on maps and plans. Let's see if now they take us further with measurements. They say there, Frances intends on renovating her house by replacing the carpets in the passage, dining room, living room with the laminated flooring. Annexure B contains the floor plan of Frances' house. Use that Annexure B to answer the questions that follow. So 3 areas I need to take into consideration. Right, so this is the plan. It has measurements. The measurements are already in meters. So there's no need for you to be using the scale. But just remember, sometimes you might be given a plan, they give you the scale, and you need to use that scale to find the actual length and the actual breadth of your house before you calculate the tiles and the cost of those tiles. Okay. Then you have a question there that says explain or give and explain or give and explain one possible reason why bedroom 2 and 3 will most probably be the warmest room during the day. Well, depending on the season, please go back and revise this part. Where does the sun shine in winter most of the day, right? In winter, the sun will shine throughout the day. It will shine on the northern part of the house, which then makes the house warmer. But in summer, the angle is no longer towards the north, but it goes over the house, so as it's like in a 90-degree angle. So just know what are they talking. Are they saying cooler or are they saying warmer or warmest? So just know the difference between cooler, warmer, or warmest. Then you will know how to explain it. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now, they say Frances intends renovating a house. That is the question. I'm repeating it. Let me go. That is the statement. The question is asking us to calculate the total area rounded off to the nearest meter squared that needs to be painted or that needs to be covered with laminated flooring if the passage is 15% of what? Of the combined areas of the dining and the living room. You may use this formula. When they say you may use the formula, if you know your formulas, you don't even need this, but it is crucial to know that you will have to use that formula one way or another if you don't remember it. So how will you find this area of the passage? You first need to find the area of the dining room and the living room. How do you find the area of the dining and the living? Go back to your plan. Here is your dining room and its dimensions. Here is the living room with its dimensions. You use that, and then you find the area. From there, what do? You take 15% of that. Here is how you can do it. You take 15% of the total that you found so that you can find the area of the passage. Then at the end, you will have area of the dining plus area of the living plus area of the passage. In this case, we are not subtracting anything because they did not tell us that they are cupboards or they are things that are there permanently that you cannot put that laminate on top of. Okay, or that you cannot laminate on top of, yes. So this is how you can go about calculating the area, but use that given formula that you have. 8 marks, level 3, is a multiple question and a multiple step question. The next question, they can ask you this type. They say, Francis obtained a quotation for the installation of laminated flooring in the dining room, living room, and passage. An insulation sheet, the underlayer, has to be on the floor before the laminated flooring is placed on top. A summary of labor and materials quotation is as follows. This is in context of measurement. It's not just a question. So just know that it's not going to come as an isolated question, but it will be a follow-up on what you're already talking about. You're given labor, you're given material, and then they ask you to show with calculations whether her budget was sufficient. These already are keys. Yes, you can start with the material, but it's always easy to take it as it is. You need the area that you found because you cannot find the amount of money that you need to spend if you don't know the area that you need to cover. So go back to that area, calculate the cost of labor by following these steps. Calculate the cost of material by following these steps that you have. There you will be talking about your rates. Then you go and you add the total cost. Compare the two values. Is it more than 12,000 that they mentioned here? Is it less than you mentioned the budget is enough or is not enough? You need your knowledge of spread rates in this case. You need to know how to find the values when you're given the spread rate. Okay, so this was a lovely exercise. I really hope it has helped you a lot, and there are many more of these questions. In those 4 plans, they can ask you a lot of things. Just remember, use your reading time wisely. Don't give us more solutions, just give us one. Relax and believe that you can do this. You've got this. You've been taught throughout the year. You can do it. Be prepared, rest enough, and all the very best with the coming exam. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.